Now on to this, the Basic Education and Labour Departments say they've addressed stipend payment delays for school assistants for September. These staff members are employed in schools and funded outside National Treasury allocations. The departments said the delay was due to challenges with the timely submission and verification of documents. Deputy Labour Minister Jomo Sibiya joins us for more. DM, a very good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us today. Maybe perhaps let's start with you elaborating the funding flow for these stipends, especially those that are funded outside National Treasury allocations, and what measures are in place to ensure the timely disbursement of those stipends.
Thank you very much, Mamsomi. Good evening to you and your viewers. Just to take you through on the process, how it flows. One is the Department of Employment and Labour. We have a responsibility to fund this program. It's a presidential program, a very important program that was introduced by the President of the country to try and address the issues of unemployment, but also to help young people to get an on-job training. So firstly, maybe as well, I must start by saying, as the department and as government in general, we want to say to young people out there, we are also very much unhappy that they haven't received their stipends, and we understand the challenges they are going through right now because they were expecting that they will be paid on time. We sympathize with them. That's why we're working around the clock to resolve this problem. But how it works is that as the Department of Employment and Labour, we are the funder of the program. So we have an entity that is called UIF, which in general, we know that it's workers' money. It's money that is contributed by workers in South Africa. And then we've got this fund that keeps this money in the department within one of our entities. So we take this money, part of our responsibility is to create jobs. So part of UIF is also to create jobs. That's why we use these funds to create employment through this teacher assistant program. So we then work with the Department of Education, Basic Education, and IDC. So the Department of Employment and Labour deals with the funding part through UIF. UIF is the one that releases the money, and we release this money to IDC, and IDC disperses the money to the beneficiaries at this time. I'm talking about the teacher assistants. So what happens as well is that there are agreements, or I would say just in a layman's term, we have a contract that we have signed, all the parties. The Department of Employment and Labour, it's IDC, it's the UIF, and the Department of Basic Education. So in this contract, every party has got it has its own responsibilities to do before funds are released. For an example, you have a situation where before any funding or any funds are released to IDC, Department of Basic Education must submit the registers. Why the registers? Because we have to verify that we are paying monies to people who really deserve to be paid, people with qualifications who meet all the requirements that have been set when this program started and when they were applying to be part of this program. But also is to make sure that there are no deceased people or persons who are paid unduly so. So this process is part of sealing and fireproofing the entire process as per government financial systems and management that are there. For accountability and transparency purposes, we have to go through all these things so that there is no money that is paid to unduly deserving persons. So that is how the process flows. So as the department, we fund, IDC submit invoice to us, they invoice us at through UIF, and then UIF releases the funds. Once everything has been processed, everything has been verified, and then IDC dispersed the funds. Remember, the registers are coming from the Department of Basic Education. So that's how the process is flowing.
So in terms of the root causes that you've identified that are not allowing this process to flow seamlessly, you've mentioned challenges with the submission of verification documents from schools. So where do you think the backlog starts particularly? Is it with the Department of Basic Education? Is it with the release of funds? Is it with IDC? Where do you see the root cause stemming from?
Trying to avoid jumping the gun, we are working towards really finding the root cause of all this. We have just completed the meeting right now, as I'm talking to you, about 30 minutes back, with the team from the Department of Basic Education, led by the Minister of Basic Education, the team from UIF, and the team from the Department of Employment and Labour, also IDC, because we are trying to make sure that our main aim for now is to make sure that this problem is resolved. It's to make sure that these teacher assistants, they do get what is due to them. Because in South Africa, there is no person that should work and don't get paid on time. So the most important thing and critical thing for us is to work around the clock in making sure that these young people don't get to be delayed any further without getting their monies. We understand very well how it changes their lives and how it has impacted them, that this whole week they haven't been able to be paid, and we don't want this to continue forever. We want to make sure that when we come and talk to you tomorrow, we are telling you exactly what is happening and when and how. Because the work that we have done since yesterday, over the weekend, and tonight, we have managed to deal with quite a lot of issues. We've managed to clean whatever that has not been cleaned. I can assure you and assure South Africans that very soon, all the deserving teacher assistants will be getting their funds in their banks. We have done quite a lot of work. We've cleaned the process. It's a commitment that we are making to South Africans. Those whom we find that they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Because as I've articulated how the process flows, indeed, there will be people who didn't do their work. And those who didn't do their work, I can assure South Africans that indeed consequences will be there. They will affect the consequence management, and people must account, people must take the responsibility. So right now, we are focusing on resolving the challenge. That is our responsibility to make sure that these young people do get paid in no time. When we talk to you tomorrow, we must tell you exactly what is happening. But I can assure them, in no time, they'll be getting their monies.
And what is in no time, DM? I mean, the program in its entirety consists of over 200,000 unemployed youth. Of course, only some of them have not been paid. So is there a timeline coming from that meeting that you attended today that sort of gives direction as to when in no time will be?
Yes, we were working towards exactly that, because we can't work just on an open-ended process. But with all due respect, because we are just tying up the loose ends, can we be allowed to communicate this tomorrow? And I can assure you that when we communicate tomorrow, we won't be communicating something that will take a week or so. I can assure you that it's less than a week. That's all I can say for now. And everyone will have their money is in their accounts. And we are very sympathetic. I must be honest with you. Some of us, we understand what it means to get this stipend, what it means and not to get it as well. So we are with them. That's why we are working around the clock, because we want to resolve this crisis, want to make sure that this is beyond us, but also making sure that the repeat doesn't happen. We can't be a government that is unable to do what we have committed ourselves to do. And that's why I'm saying that we'll have to effect the consequence management out of what has happened, because this is massive. It's impacting on the lives of young people who are unemployed, who are suffering. And we can't add on top of the sufferings they are experiencing. Just when they've started to be paid in the past 3 months, in this month, and then they are unable to get what is due to them. But definitely they will be getting their money in no time.
All right. I'm glad that you are sympathetic to some of those circumstances that many of these teachers find themselves in, DM? I mean, some saying in terms of the rent not being paid and them not being able just to get through the basic necessities of a month in order for them to be able to assist the children that certainly do have their needs. But thank you, DM. We certainly appreciate your time and your commitment, and we certainly do hope that as of tomorrow we will have a clear path to charter forward. Thank you for your time. That's Deputy Minister of Labour Jomo Sibiya speaking to us there about those stipends for assistant teachers. Now,